Hi. It's Friday. It's 12 o'clock in Chicago. It's 1 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 10 a.m. on the West Coast. Hi, West Coasters. How is your morning so far? Welcome to the end of the week. Aren't we glad to be here? My name is Maggie, and I am a brand strategist on a mission to kick vagueness in the dick and to help you do the same via a brand strategy. I am the owner of Be Understood Branding, which is a brand strategy company. And usually I am welcoming a beloved friend, client, or fangirling over someone on the brand chat. But today I am doing an AMA. So yesterday I put out a call to y'all. Hi, Stacy or Tracy, how are you? Oh, it's so nice to see you over here. Tracey, my friends. So what was I saying? Oh, right. I put out an AMA and asked me anything about branding, and you did not disappoint. Y'all gave me glorious questions to answer, and they all end up this is so weird how this happens. Hey, Kim, you're here too. Wonderful. Hi. Kim, I can't wait to answer your question. Hi, oh, that's so great. Kim, I'm going to ask, since you're on, I'm going to answer your question first, because I know it's a lot later where you are in the world, and maybe you're ready for your wine, your glass of wine, your Friday wine time. So, but first, I'm going to tell you the story that knits all of these questions and their answers together. And it is a classic Maggie story. What does that mean? It means it's a little bit gross. It's a little bit funny. And that's what it means. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story first, and then I'm going to get into your three questions. So very early in my relationship with my now husband, who I've been together with, people ask me, like, how long have you guys been married? I'm like, I honestly don't know. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. No problem. I made the mistake of lamenting gravity to the man that I was with. Now, we women, we obviously, especially those of us with things on our chest that are larger, know gravity intimately, and other parts of our body know gravity intimately. It's never a good idea to disclose gravity to people who don't have the same experience, particularly if all they want to do is solve a problem, which is most men. That's all they want. They just want to solve your problem. They don't want to hear about it necessarily. They just want to solve it. Okay, so in classic man fashion, I was looking in the mirror and lamenting gravity and its particular effect from my neck to my waist. And he looked at me and said, bless him, he said, "Aren't there exercises for that?" And then I proceeded to lose my mind. And he learned a lot about the patriarchy and the challenges that women have that men don't have. And I also may have wished that his balls dragged down to his knees by the time he was 60, but I may not have also. Anyway, so it became a joke in our relationship, as I'm sure you have too, like the things that you say to each other that kind of live on. This is one of those things. So sometimes if he's complaining about something now, I'll turn to him and say, aren't there exercises for that? So the three questions that y'all asked in the AMA, like enter the question options, there are exercises for all of them. There are exercises for all of them. There are things that you can do, specific actions you can take to answer your own questions. So much as I do in my brand strategy process, I don't just tell you what to do. I actually guide you through it by giving you exercises to do. And then we kind of scaffold up the final results by, we do like one exercise and then we do another and another and another. These exercises are ones that I have gathered over the years through working with people. So Kim, let me get to your question. Oh, hey, Brianna, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, so Kim wants to know, Kim in the UK, If anyone is in the UK and you're having, actually, if you're just having anything in your body that like feels crunchy or weird or uncomfortable, I want you to go follow Kim2M squared, and it's the number 2. She's a brilliant PT. In the States, we call it a PT. I don't know, Kim, what you call, hey, Kathy. I don't know what you call like people who like look at the structure of your body, how you're moving in your body, where things are happening, and how to get you kind of moving in a great way. We call them PTs here. I don't know what you call yourself, Kim, but you're awesome at what you do, clearly. Kim wants to know, you know your target. What do you do if you know your target market, but you don't know how to get them to listen to you and or see your brand? Okay, what's the theme of the day? There are exercises for that. So here's what I want to tell you first before I share the exercise. Humans make decisions based on emotions. Feelings beat facts 99.9% of the time. For example, people vote. They go to the ballot box and they vote from an emotional place. So they have personal experiences with certain issues. They have friends who have had experiences with certain issues. They inherited beliefs from people who may or may not be right about certain issues, but they're voting from an emotional place. In many ways, unfortunately, facts don't matter as much as emotions matter. So Kim, since you are not Walmart, thank God you're not Walmart. What I mean by that is that your product and your service is not the cheapest thing on the market. You do not fulfill a functional need. Even though you and I both understand at the cellular level that you are most definitely solving a functional need, literally, people are not going to connect with you if you explain what the functional need is that you answer. You have to explain to them what the emotional need, especially after Theranos, yes. Physiotherapists. So PTs in the UK are called physiotherapists. Thank you very much. No, British oddness? No. If anyone's odd here, it's us. You're fine. So you have to figure out, and the exercise that I'm going to give you is around what are the emotional needs you address. So you're not going to talk about you. You're going to keep your amazing content in which you are exploring and explaining things about people's bodies, but you're not going to talk about that all the time. You're going to talk about them, and you're going to show them that you see them. So there are exercises for that. Here is your exercise, Kim. You're going to conduct what's called ideal client interviews. And if you want to get on a phone call with me, just for me to explain it in detail, I'd be very happy to, because I try not to let this brand chat go over 30 minutes. Oh, cool. I love it when you guys talk to each other in the chat. One person is just saying to the other, thanks for letting me know. Now I won't. Now I'll appear more posh when I am in the UK. Yes, we all want to appear posh, don't we? Well, sometimes. It's clearly not me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have led with the story I led with. So you're going to find people who are your ideal client, and you're going to ask for 30 minutes of their time. And in those 30 minutes of time, you're going to give them a little thank you gift, and you're going to ask them specific questions. And I can send you the questions if you want, since we are friends, about their lives as relates, in your case, to their bodies and to movement and to their comfort around both. You will find 2 things in these interviews that will blow your mind. You will come to understand the moments in the day that you can speak directly to your ideal client. You're going to learn from them moments that you can pull out the chair and get them a glass of water. You're not going to be, but it's not going to necessarily be about their bodies. It's going to be about their lives. It's going to be about the impacts on their day-to-day experience of living in a body with a stuck shoulder or a knee that is not cooperating. The other thing you'll learn, and it's going to freak you out a little bit if you're like the rest of my clients, is you're going to start to hear patterns. You're going to start to hear similar experiences from people who are going to have completely different physical things going on in their body. You're going to hear the same thing that's happening to them, that same emotional experience that they're having, so that you can meet them there. Now, here's the thing about understanding where your ideal client is coming from. Is I don't believe in ever, and you would never abuse. Okay, so if you're doing an ideal client interview and you come to find out that women feel really insecure about their bodies, you could use that information to try to sell them a quick weight loss plan. We're not going to do that. I'm not worried about you doing that, but I just want to make sure I point out the difference that once you come to understand the human needs that your ideal client is having and how you address them, the moments in which you meet them where they're at, pull out a chair, get them a glass of water. That's how you get them to listen to your brand. The way you get someone to listen to your brand is by saying, I see you. I see you. You want them to be looking around for cameras in their home. They're so like, what? How did she know that? And the way that you answer that, the way that you get to that point is by conducting ideal client interviews. So, Kim, I'm going to try to remember to come back on here and DM you a link to schedule 30 minutes with me. And for a very, very nominal fee, I'll send you all the questions to ask. So there are approximately 1 million questions that you could ask an ideal client. Based on my experience and years of helping my clients figure out how to meet people where they are, I have narrowed it down to some powerful fucking questions. They're a little weird, in that they're not going to have anything to do, some of them, with people's bodies in your case. And they're going to seem a little like, what does that have to do with anything? But they are, they're gold, okay? So your exercise is to conduct ideal client interviews. You're welcome. Happy to help. Okay, let's see, who is next? I think, was it Brianna next or Confidence with Kat was next? Brianna, you're next if you're still on here. Oh God, I hope you're still on here. Okay, I can't tell. I'm not like technologically advanced to tell. All right. So, Brianna's question was, how does one develop an overall, oh, good. You're still here. Thank goodness. How does one develop an overall brand, right? So a consistent brand, a brand identity, a vibe, a feeling, an understanding of what you do, but that brand serves vastly different clients. So you might have B2B clients, B2C clients. And how do you do that without alienating the other group? I love this question. Is this even possible? Yes, it's totally possible. All right. I want you to picture the last time you went to Sephora. Did everybody look the same in there? No, they did not. There were young people, there were old people, there were gorgeous women of color, there were melanin deficient folks like myself, there were larger people, smaller people. So Sephora, this is very, very, very common, serving different groups of people and having different ideal clients. Very common. Very common. Think of any brand. They have multiple categories of people that they serve. And the brand isn't diminished in the serving of the different people. It actually kind of expands the brand. So I want you to think about it that way to start. So that's your frame up, is it's an opportunity to expand your brand. Okay. Common, super common. The second piece of advice is assume nothing. Assume nothing and gather data. Because everyone in Sephora, they all might and need and or want the same thing. They might all want lash booster. They might all want cheek highlighter. They are completely different human beings, but they all might want the same thing. So here's your assignment. Are there exercises for that? Yes, there are exercises for that. Brianna, your exercise is to do what's called a human needs assessment. So you're going to figure out, this is an exercise. This isn't like an assignment. Like I'm just telling you to go out and do it. There's actually a process to do it. So if you want help with that process, let me know. The human needs assessment is one in which you take a list of basic human needs, And a lot are included on the list that I use, that are around, are totally applicable for B2C. Like usually when you think human needs, you think like of a product based, company, but it totally, trust me, it totally works for service based companies, because of the list that I've created. So you're going to go through that list of human needs. You're going to figure out like maybe 3, maybe 5 needs you address for your B2B and for your B2C. Now, in my experience, 90% of the time there is deep overlap within those two categories. So a lot of times you don't want to make any assumptions. You want to gather data. But a lot of times you'll gather data and you'll be like, oh shit, I'm totally solving the same needs for these people. Obviously with different products or in different ways. That's another exercise. But the first exercise I want you to do is this human needs assessment. So you're going to figure out what is it comfort? Is it belonging? Is it growth? I don't want to get into like all the, hey, Jerm, how are you? I don't want to get into all of them here, but so that is your assignment. If you have any questions, you can, Brianna, if you have any questions about it, you can add, what is it? Because everyone wants to improve their relationship with colleagues and leaders. You're doing the work already. I love it. Yes. Exactly. That is exactly it. So the list of human needs is about 20 to 30 deep. And if the second piece of that exercise that I want you to do is to figure out the human needs, sometimes that you don't address, because sometimes it's just as useful, like if you're looking at a piece of marble, to carve away what isn't part of what you deliver to people in order to expose what you do. So that's like a more in-depth, that's like a second piece to the process. All right, so that's the second question. The theme of the day for those of you who are just joining is I'm doing an AMA about, people ask me questions about brand strategy. And the theme of the day is there are exercises for that. There are exercises for that. And you can do them yourself with an assist from me or by yourself. It's totally doable. Okay, last question. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure. The last question is from Confidence with Kat, who I don't know. So Kat, if you're on here, say hi. Let me know you're here. But Confidence with Kat asked, how do I start my brand identity? I love this question. I have lots of ideas, but I'm not sure how to get my message out clearly. Okay, first of all, Kat, you are not alone. You are not alone. You are so not alone. And I have good news for you. Can you guess what the good news is? There are exercises for that. It's, okay, so branding and brand strategy, the field of brand strategy is built around what we understand about how human brains work, how attention works, what gets attention, what doesn't, based on the neurological firings in human brains. So brand strategy evolves as our understanding of human brains and how they work and how attention works in human brains evolves. Where was I going? Oh, right. I'm sorry. So it is all of brand strategy is basically just trying to understand a specific human brain in relation to what you do for them. So what I'm trying to say poorly is that brand strategy is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It is not a mystery. It is not a confusing conundrum of hand-wringing and anxiety. It is a doable series of exercises based on what we currently understand about the human brain. So here are I do a workshop called Your First 3 Must-Do Branding Moves. And so I'm pulling the 3 things from that workshop that I'm going to recommend that you do. And these are going to sound, one or two of them might sound familiar. So the first thing that I recommend you do to figure out how to get your message out clearly is to figure out why you. Why you? Why you and not somebody else in your industry? We all work in very crowded industries, most of us anyway. I can think of 10 brand strategists off the top of my head who are just lovely people and great at what they do. It's my job to figure out why me? Why would you want to work with me as opposed to somebody else? So that is called your uniqueness or your differentiated advantages. And there are 3 exercises within that pillar of your brand strategy that will help you answer why me. So you don't just like ponder, why me? Why me? You actually collect data and do exercises to answer that question for your own business. So that's the first thing, is figure out how to answer the question, why you, as opposed to someone else. The second thing I recommend folks do is define your brand personality, because it then it makes the creation of content 99% easier, because you know the tone of voice that you're speaking in, you know the kind of vocabulary you want to use, you know what you are and what you are not. So once you imagine understanding how you're unique in your industry, but not having a specific brand personality. It's not going to make anything easier for you, right? Because you're not going to know how to talk about things. You're not going to know what to say. But once you define your brand personality, and again, there are exercises for that, for defining your brand personality. I don't just say to my clients, all right, go define your brand personality. What? No. There are exercises for that. There are things that we can do together to help you figure out the answer to that question. In brand personality, it's really helpful. Remember that carving away I described? So in the brand personality portion of the brand strategy work I do with my clients, we always define what your brand personality is not, because it is super helpful. The last thing, Confidence with Kat, that I recommend you do to start your brand identity is to figure out, identify the moments you deliver to your ideal client, the moments you deliver to your ideal client, and what human needs you're solving in that delivery. So I want you to figure out the moments. It's usually, if it's a service, it's definitely a moment that you deliver. You do something for your ideal client. So you have to figure out what the thing is that you do. And the way to figure that out is to identify the human need that you're addressing and figure out how you address it for your client. So again, the exercise there is going to be a human needs assessment. As well as there's an offer assessment a work that I do with people to figure out what your offer is to you and what your offer is to your ideal client. Those were the questions today around brand strategy. I think I'm going to do this once a month moving forward, because it's so fucking fun for me to hear where you're at, to answer your questions. Maybe it's because I'm a teacher's daughter. I don't know. But as much as I love talking to people who have built their own brand, which is usually what Brand Chat is every Friday at 1 p.m., I think I'm going to do an AMA. I think I'm going to do an AMA on the regular. I hope this was really helpful. Ooh, look, we're finishing early. Who has time for more than 30-minute things? These all day. I just got an offer from someone that I used to work with in the past who was like, do you want to spend the day with me? It's like an offer, right? Like she's going to provide some service to me in a day. And I'm like, no, I don't want to spend the day with you. I would spend like a couple hours with you, but the whole damn day. All right. I hope this was useful. I'm going to try to remember to follow up with those of you who ask questions with a special thank you for asking the question. And then the exercises for each of you who I have. I know. Sorry. You probably got that offer too, right, Brianna? I I'm not saying I'm the zeitgeist at this in that story. I'm just telling you what my personal reaction was. My personal reaction was all day. Oh, and then the second part of her sales pitch was, and it's in person. So you don't, so we're going to be in a gorgeous space. And I'm like, yeah, but I have to fly there. Like, I'm exhausted. Anyway, it wasn't an offer for me because it didn't solve any of the human needs I have. My human needs are to be in my pajamas and drink coffee on my couch while petting my dog. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Do something nice for yourself. And I'll see you next week on Brand Chat. Bye.